All right, we're live. Welcome back. It's been 3 weeks since the last one. I'm doing the Assassin's Creed thing today. It's a little bit cold downstairs, so I'm wearing the hoodie until it warms up a bit. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. This will be a completely audience-inspired live stream, as per always. I don't go into these with any particular topic or whatever in mind, so if anyone has any questions, let us know. I'll put the comments on screen, all that kind of stuff, and let us know if the audio and video is all good. Any issues with the audio, let us know. Now, they're doing some works out the front here. They're doing the mowing and all that kind of stuff, so there's a bit of noise. So I've turned on this echo cancellation thing. As soon as I hear it stop, I'm going to turn it off. So if the audio sucks, hopefully it's all right. We'll see how we go. Anyway. All right, welcome back. All right, cool. So we've got Jerry. Jerry was the first one here. Welcome, mate. He says he's got a hand-wired 100-watt Hayden amp, subsidiary of Ashdown bass amps. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing those years ago, actually. Maybe 10 years or so ago. Then I think they kind of fell off the map. They're kind of like industrial-looking heads, and they also made, I think, combos. So very cool. Sounds fantastic. Yeah, I used a used amp versus cheap now in the UK. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, very cheap. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I haven't seen those in a long time. A lot of the music shops here had them when they first came out, and then I'm not sure kind of what happened to them after that. It was a bit of a shame to sort of see them go, but yeah, they were pretty affordable when they first came out here. I was really close to buying one of their heads. I remember thinking, this is pretty good. I don't think it had reverb, though, which was maybe the thing that sort of was the deal breaker for me, at least, anyway. Jerry also says, remember everyone to click notifications. It really does help. Thank you, mate. Thanks for that. I pinned that as well in the chat here. Yeah, I go live sometimes with no warning. I'm just going to turn my audio back here. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, so if you want to be notified of my videos, that would be awesome. You can click personalized as well, but I don't think that gives you the live stream notifications. So yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Thanks for joining in, everybody. We've got a whole bunch of folks here already. All right, BC Rich is here. Welcome, mate. Everyone is going live tonight. I haven't checked. I scheduled this up a couple of days ago. So, man, my audio is just a little bit hot here. 1, 2. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Here we go. 1, 2, 2. All right, that should be hopefully better now. Anyway, yeah, I don't check. I scheduled this a few days ago on the channel, so it is what it is. People tend to be doing these whenever they can. I'm a bit like that. I try to do them in the mornings now because it's a bit easier for me to still do the rest of the day. If I leave it too late, I'm usually too fried. I got my caffeine. I got my water bottle here. We're good to go. Anyway, hopefully that hasn't dropped the audio too much. If it's too quiet or whatever, just let us know. I've just turned it up a hair. Wearing the Jedi robes. That's it. I said earlier the Assassin's Creed inspired hoodie. It's a little bit cold in here today. Oh man, my audio levels are killing me. Hang on one sec. All right, it's usually around here, so that should be hopefully fine. Sorry about the audio. I had to set up kind of a bit last minute here. There was a few things I couldn't find. I was like, oh no, where's my XLR adapter? So yeah, anyway, just keep it warm for the moment. It's a little cold down here this morning. It's about 12 degrees Celsius or 15 degrees outside, so downstairs is not warm. I can't open the window, unfortunately, otherwise it's just going to be too loud. All right, we've got Will's here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. We've got Mark's Gas Station. Howdy, mate. Thanks for coming back to the live stream. I appreciate it. We've got everything sounds good. All right, awesome. Thank you, mate. Very cool. Have I played Mesa Boogie Express 550 combo? I have. Yeah, I find one of my good friends, Brian, actually had one of those, and he loved it when he first got it, but he soon sold it because I think it's the same old story. I feel like a lot of those amps that try to do too much don't really excel in any one thing. It's not a bad amp by any stretch of the imagination. Some people like absolutely love them, but it just didn't really cut the mix that well. Like he went back to like a Blues Deluxe, I think, with an overdrive pedal, and it sounded better. And yeah, it's one of those amps. I think it's sort of like not Boogie's best in terms of cutting a mix, but one of their most versatile. But everyone likes different stuff. I think, yeah, I haven't had enough hands-on experience to really say whether or not I would like get one personally or whatever. But yeah, I just remember hearing it a few times and plugging into it at Brian's house, and I was like, yeah, it was good, but it was a bit, yeah, it was a bit of a different sounding amp to my ear than what Boogie are known for. I much prefer their Studio 22. I think that amp's almost unmatched from a tone standpoint. It's great. It's the one of the few amps where the only pedal you need is the foot switch. So yeah, I don't want to say they're not great because I haven't used them enough, but just the quick test I've had through them, probably not great for me at least. Anyway. All right. Did I? Thanks, mate. Hope you're doing well. We got Jason here as well. Hopefully you can't hear this mowing in the background here, man. I'll be moving soon. All right. What do I think of the PRS Sonzera as a do-it-all amp? Here's another one that I don't think excels on the dirty channel. Again, it's got like this kind of Fender clean channel that is really quite great. But then the drive channel's got this sort of strange, sort of fizzy fuzz overtone to it, which I think a lot of PRS amps have. It almost feels like a fuzz sound is following the clean tone. It's an odd thing. I like those amps in terms of their tone, how they cut the mix on the clean channel, and I think they're great like that. But I've heard they've got a few reliability issues with the power transformers. So just keep that in mind. Always look at that sort of stuff up. But yeah, I was really impressed with how they handle pedals and the clean tone. But again, that's the same old story, right? Like, how many amps do that well? Lots of them. So I'd probably just buy, if you love the drive channel sound, then go for it. But if you are using it mostly for the clean channel, I would say buy something else. But yeah, I'm not really sure how I really feel about PRS amps. They feel like, yeah, it's not their strength. I'll put it that way. I don't think they're the worst amps out there, but yeah, you know, good clean channel amps are a dime a dozen at the moment. All right. So sorry about the background noise there. If you could hear it, folks, it's really annoying today. I almost postponed this till tomorrow, but thought we'll give it a go. All right, we got Roger. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. So my comments are here. My camera's there, as always. It's a little bit odd of a setup. Jeffrey, how you doing, man? We got Kimball. Thanks for joining in, mate. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Volume drop way down. Oh, okay. It's too quiet. You got it. All right. Let us know if it's still... Yeah, okay. I think I adjusted it after it dropped, so we'll see how we go. Yeah, everyone likes different stuff. Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, if you're looking for some sort of like metal sound versus a blues sound, right? Some people are going to say, oh, the blues thing sounds like crap, or the metal tone would sound like crap if you're a blues player. It's just what people like, and there's no really right or wrong with this. I always say, like, if you can go play something and you like it, then do it. There's a difference between liking the sound of something in a shop and it actually performing if you're playing out live. Not every amp sounds good in the context of a mix, and not every amp will sound pleasant on its own. There's this weird thing that happens, like good live amps can sometimes not sound as nice when you hear them on their own compared to other really nice sounding amps. So yeah, it's an interesting sort of thing. You just got to try them, and there's a bit of trial and error in there, but once you sort of can trust your ear a bit, it's good. That's what I try to do now. I just like, if it is good, I like it. Or if it sounds good, I like it. That's kind of how I look at it. About to buy a Marshall Code. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're looking for a little practice amp, that'll do the job. I wouldn't expect miracles out of that one either, but I would probably say, if you're interested in an amp like that, check out their DSL-5. I think that's a killer amp. Or their MGFX series, which I would personally prefer. I think those are a great little amp. The 30 is or 15, MG15R, I think it's called. It's great. It's basically a solid state amp with a couple of digital effects, no menu diving, and they sound much better in the room. So that would be my suggestion if you're thinking about buying a Marshall coat. What's my favorite cheap overdrive? Whew, man. Yeah, that's a good question. I would say if, like, thinking back to all the videos I've done, I mean, Kalen make a whole bunch of great stuff, but I would say either the Behringer TO800, which was one of the first videos I ever posted. That was like a $30 pedal back in the day. Now I think they're about $60. They're really good. The Delta Lab TO1's another one that I'd recommend if you can find them. That's a metal enclosure, and that was about $50 when I bought it overseas a couple of years ago. Yeah, there's so many. Like, I actually reviewed a really great sounding couple of pedals from, what was it? It was a weird name, like Goko, right? Or Goko or something. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. They had this sort of vintage overdrive with like 5 different sort of voicings, and that was really good too. I did basically a full play test of all their stuff, and actually the distortion pedal was pretty good too. There's so many now. It's like the Joyo make a bunch of great stuff too. So yeah, really depends on the sort of sound you're going for, but yeah, plenty of plenty of good pedals out there for next to nothing. Tone City were great too back in the day. I think they're getting a little bit too expensive now, but you know, I reviewed those before anyone else, and they were really good. Ever played any VHT stuff? I don't think I have. I don't think I'm too familiar with that stuff. I think I've seen some of their amps, but yeah, I don't think so. All right, let me just mowing in cold. It's not super cold out there. It's just cold in here. And yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I didn't want to put the heater on just yet. Oh, cool, man. So Kimball says, just picked up a Dr. Z Jetta. Let's have a look at this one. Let's see if this works. Where is my browser? All right. Dr. Z Jetta. Did I say Zeta before? I meant to say Jetta. Sorry. All right, let's have a look at this. How do I do this? Is this going to work? Who knows? Boom. There we go. Hey, it worked. All right, 30 watts. Very cool. 3 controls. It's got lots of good stuff going on here, man. So they got a head as well. That's cool. What speakers in here? Oh, actually, this is the problem with this thing. How do I move this? All right, here we go. So it's got a G12H. Very nice. Very cool, man. This looks good. The simplicity thing's great too. It means it sounds good, most likely. That's the thing. I've seen one of these at Found Sound in Melbourne. Yeah, I looked at it. I still haven't put that Guitar Search Saturdays video together because I shot it in a different way. It's going to take a bit of time, but yeah, I saw one of these heads and I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. So congrats, man. That's awesome. Well done. All right, so it looks like the desktop sharing's kind of working, which is awesome. Have I ever messed with amps with a direct out being able to send a signal without a mic to the front of house? Yeah, I have. It looks. I've tried that with a few amps over the years, but I've never really liked it as much as the sound of the speaker being mic'd up. It's at least, you know what? I haven't tried any of the latest generation of amps. I think the only one that I tried was from Blackstar. It was a 2x12. I reviewed that this year, and that had like an XLR out on the back, and that was pretty good. I know Hughes and Kettner make a really great like simulated output. If it doesn't have an IR, they generally don't, or an impulse response, they don't usually sound as good as amps that actually do have an impulse response. Actually, I'm warming up a bit now. So yeah, maybe think about like looking up whether or not they have an actual like mic simulated output, because a lot of them just have like a line out. They don't always sound great to my ear, at least with the older amplifiers anyway. I mean, yeah, again, I haven't tested everything. That's just going off what I know about the amps I've tried back in the day from Marshall and a few other ones as well. But yeah, the ones with the impulse responses and an XLR out are generally pretty great. Like even the Tone Master stuff does that really well. I think that's one of their strengths. Now a friend of mine's got a couple of Bad Cat amps. I'll ask him whether or not he's ever used the. They're so loud, those amps, though. Like I don't I don't know if he's ever even bothered using the out on them, because they're pretty full on. All right. Hey Shane, just watched your DSL 40 video. I'm going to pick one up, and I was thinking of doing a speaker swap to a WGS ET65. Have you tried that speaker in the amp, or would you recommend it? Yeah, that amp tends. Sorry, I should say I actually really like the sound of the speaker that's in the Marshall DSL 20. But if you're going to change it, the ET65 will give you like an inherently warmer sound, and it will also probably give you a little bit more output. When I first tested the ET65s, I was really impressed, and then I wasn't. I thought, man, these things don't have enough headroom. And then I've heard them in other amps recently. I think they've been tweaked since I first tested them, because my good friend Brian put one in his Peavey Studio Pro 112, and the thing peels the paint off the wall. So yeah, if you're looking for like an inherently warmer sound and maybe a little less sort of gnarly top end, it's a really good speaker. And I would say, look, try the stock speaker. I don't think it's bad, because I've not only tried it in my review video, but I also did a live play test of that in one of the Keys to the Guitar Shop series. And that amplifier cut the mix like nothing else. The clean channel's great. So yeah, it's a great amp. But if you're finding the stock speaker a little lackluster, yeah, of course you'll definitely get a better, a different tone with a different speaker, definitely. Yeah, the ET65s have got a bit of their own thing going on. I think back in the day they were kind of marketed it as a two-rock replacement speaker. So they had a little bit of that big bottom end, not a lot of sort of upper mids. So they're kind of scooped and a bit more tame on the top. So yeah, have a listen to what you don't like about the stock speaker, and then choose a speaker accordingly. And it takes a little bit of research, but you'll be able to do it. What would you consider the maximum amount of pedals that should be on a pedal board? I mean, that's everyone's personal choice, right? I know guys that have way too many pedals on their board. I know people that have one pedal on the floor. So it really doesn't matter. It's up to you. And it also depends on the kind of music you're playing. You know, if you're in a cover band and you want a flanger, a chorus pedal to replicate the song that you're playing, that requires a whole lot more than like what I would play doing my blues stuff. So I got 2 overdrives. I've got a delay pedal and a modulation pedal. So occasionally I'll use my wah. It's not on my pedal board, but that's an option. And the most important one, the tuner. So yeah, look, it really just depends on the style of music you're playing and what amp you're using and all that kind of stuff. There's no wrong amount, but the more simple you can keep your signal chain, the easier it is to troubleshoot it if something goes wrong. You see those guys with those huge pedal boards with stuff going everywhere and independent switching and all that kind of stuff. That's where if something goes wrong, you're screwed, basically. And pulling all of that apart on stage or even at home is a nightmare. You've got to really just try 100 different things. So I don't know. For me, I don't want a pedal board bigger than about this. That's it. 5 or 6 pedals max, and I'm happy with that. But let us know in the comments section what everyone thinks, because everyone likes different stuff. Hey, Robert, how are you, man? Welcome back. Hey, there we go. So we've got Papa on 2, I think that is. All right. VHC is pretty lame in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know much about that brand. It's not a brand I've really sort of been into. All right. If you're watching the amp repair videos, Rift amps live streams with Chris, it's a fantastic channel. He's a really nice guy, knows his stuff. Very cool. All right, we're getting through the comments here. I think I'm almost caught up, which is the first. All right, we got Coots. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. I remember that guitar from last time. Thanks for joining in. It's been like 3 weeks since I've done a live stream. Apologies for that. I've just been too busy kind of filming and editing, and yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. So yeah, I'll be back doing these as often as I can. All right, we've got Robert says he just picked up a Victoria Chicago LUX. Very nice. Awesome, awesome. Victoria amps are beautiful, man. Like, yeah, Dr. Rick used to have a Victoria Regal. It's still one of the best amps I've ever heard. Loaded with a 15-inch speaker. Actually, I don't know that one. Victoria Chicago LUX. Let's have a look. See if this works. Let's have a look here. Oh, 14 watt tweed combo. Very nice. All right, so let's see if this works. Boom. All right, how do I, let's try this. Is this going to work? This is so bad. This desktop sharing sucks. Oh, yeah, cool, man. It looks like basically like a Fender tweed champ, not a champ, sorry, a tweed, what do they call it? A Fender Deluxe, Tweed Deluxe. It's got that kind of vibe. So yeah, very nice. Looks really good. Yeah, there you go. Super cool. Got the off-centered speaker as well. Awesome. Oh, here you go, the ads. Let's get out of this. All right, awesome. Well, congrats, mate. They're pretty high-end amps. That's awesome. All right, just picked up a Mosky Brown OD distortion pedal. It's great without the huge price tag. Yeah, it's another brand that are great too. I mean, yeah, Joyo, all those kind of inexpensive pedal brands will get you basically the same tone now. It really just comes down to longevity, build quality, warranty, all that kind of stuff, and whether or not, you know, hand built means the same to you as it does to someone else. That's really what it comes down to. I find the boutique pedal companies are the innovators, though, right? Like, how many cheap pedal brands come up with their own thing? There's not many. They're all basically taking stuff from other people and repackaging it. So yeah, if you love a pedal, like I always say when I did the Joyo American sound pedals, you know, they're a clone of a Tech 21, and if you can afford the Tech 21, that's the one to go for. But if you want the less expensive one, you can get the Joyo. Deadeye says, the reason why I ask is that I have 6, including a tuner. I think that's enough. Yeah, well, that's plenty, man. I always find like I end up changing pedals from time to time anyway. So I've got my kind of like my overdrive sorted out, and then occasionally I might just switch out the single overdrive. So if I'm using a Klon style pedal, I might put a Tube Screamer one back on for something different occasionally. Or I don't want 2 delays on my pedal board, so I'm using either an analog one. When I get bored of that, I put my digital one back on for a while. And that's how I sort of run my pedal board. I don't find the need to have both of them ever on there when it comes to delays or more than 2 overdrive pedals. I feel like that's enough. You know, some people might want 3. I got a dual pedal, so I count that as 1 still. But yeah, it's, you know, that's kind of enough for most folks, I reckon. All right. Hey, thank you, mate. Denka says, big fan of you playing and the channel. Hey, thanks so much, man. Yeah, it's I'm always trying to capture something in the videos with the jam tracks. Some days are better than others, but I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. I've been playing live a lot again lately, so I'm starting to get like a lot of my guitar parts done pretty quickly again. Like, I always find that helps. If I'm playing out, you know, you're in the moment, you're playing, you're digging in, it sort of carries over back to the studio a little bit. So I'm kind of trusting myself more and playing sometimes in one take, which is a pretty great feeling. I'm like, oh, I got it done. That's it. You know, other days it's not like that. So yeah, it's all up and down when it comes to guitar playing. And I think the more you do it, the more consistent you become, and that's what matters. If you can be consistent, even if you think you have a bad day, being consistent is usually a pretty good place to be. You're going to have your great days and your bad days and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just sort of strive to be at least consistent in my videos and try to dig in and capture something. So thank you, mate. All right. He has a Angle orange, but only use it as a boost. Oh, okay. I don't know that, actually. I'll have to look that one up. Cool. All right. I don't know if anyone had a chance to check out the latest Sonic Cake Matru Box 2 Pro. But this thing, I just posted a video of it yesterday. And this thing's got like a similar interface to the Tone Master Pro. They've basically sort of taken the same concept. There's an empty signal chain. You can drop stuff in, layer up multiple effects. It's pretty cool. I was really impressed, and it's $300 US. So yeah, I thought that was pretty great for that sort of tech. You know, it's they all kind of sound the same. Like, it's getting to a point now with any of these multi-effects processor pedals that unless you're loading in your own IRs or capturing your own amplifiers, they're all so similar, and they're getting better in terms of their user interface, which has always been the thing that I think digital multi-effects pedals have struggled with, is they're just being able to use them simply and easily. They're really starting to get good, and if you're using the software, yeah, I actually really enjoyed using that pedal. That video was way longer than I anticipated it would be, so fair enough if no one's watched it. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with the overall sort of usability of a pedal at that price point now. They're really starting to do well. So it's another great example of an inexpensive pedal that we were talking about earlier. I'm sure there's a speaker somewhere that would fix any amp. I mean, speakers make the biggest difference to the tone. I've been a big advocate of that for over 10 or 12 years doing what I do on YouTube. It makes a massive difference to... You can basically revoice an amp completely. If it's too bright, there's speakers for that. The Texas Heat's a good example. Or even the the ET65 we were talking about before. That will do it. If you're looking for more tops, there's plenty of Celestians or the Eminence Wizard or, you know, whatever. If you're looking for a speaker that complements the sound of an already existing amplifier but just makes it better, like, there's plenty of those as well. So yeah, it makes a massive difference to the tone. A great example of this is if you've got like a 10-inch speaker combo or something with an 8-inch speaker and you plug it into a big cab, it's going to sound great, right? So the speaker's there, the cab's doing its thing. It makes a massive difference to the overall end result. So yeah. Hey, we got Sirius Amps here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for still being a member, mate. I appreciate it. We can't wait to see what else you got cooking in the electronic shed. So yeah, keep us posted if anything else comes up. Awesome, awesome. Guys, if you don't know Sirius Amps, go check them out online. I don't think the website's overly actually, let's have a look here. Yeah, I don't think from memory, at least last time I checked, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff on the website, but it's probably been changed. Oh, look at this guy. Check this out. There you go. I checked out the Double Shirley was one of the most impressive amps I've ever played. That thing was so good. It was unbelievably loud. It was a better version of my Marshall. It really is. It's killer. Made in Australia. And there's the other one down there, the sort of like Soldano head, the Sweet Lucy Overdrive. Super cool. So yeah, how do I get out of this? Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Little shout out there. Thanks, mate. Oh, there's a good question. What current pedal do you think will be a future collectible if they ever stop production? The Warm Audio Centavo. That replica of the Klon is so good. And I don't know if that company will get sued for doing that or not. I'm not sure. Like, there's all these weird rules around pedals that people don't own the circuit. There's no patents for it or something. But, you know, if that ever gets discontinued, I think the price of that will go right up. That's visually a very impressive pedal. It sounds like a Klon. It looks exactly the same. So, yeah, that's one I think will definitely be right up there. I also think the Tamura Mod Tube Screamers will eventually be a collector's item as well, unless they do another run. I reviewed a few of those a little while ago. So the inventor of the Tube Screamer re-engineered a few Tube Screamers in different ways. So different voicings, different EQ curves, all handmade and all that kind of stuff with old parts. And I think those will also be somewhat of a collectible in the future. But yeah, I think the Warm Audio Centavo, I said this to Rick a little while ago, that I showed him, I said, I reckon this might be a collectible in the future if there's no more of these available. Like, they're really that good. And although they're not handmade in the US or in England or whatever, they're very good. And I think you'll probably see them escalate in price over the next few years. That's just my opinion on it. I could be wrong. All right, we've got Robert. He says, hey, thanks for the super chat, man. Got to run. We'll catch the replay tomorrow. Cheers all. Hey, thanks, mate. No worries at all. And yeah, thanks for all your support. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll timestamp this after the fact too, and we'll get some chapters going so everyone can skip around to the questions. Thanks, mate. Was there a tonal difference between getting the Red Stripe Studio and Bandit? Getting different opinions? Yes. Yeah. So the biggest kind of handicap, this is another great example of the speaker. The biggest handicap of the Studio Pro is only the speaker. It's a loud enough amplifier to fill a room with the right speaker, but it does have a smaller magnet. It has less throw of sound and maybe more inherent speaker distortion. Not that the speaker is bad or the tone of the amp is bad, but if you put exactly the same thing again. My friend heard Brian's Studio Pro 112 with the WGS ET65, and he put one of his in the Red Stripe Studio Pro I gave him, and it made the world of difference to the tone. So yeah, it now keeps up in the room with my Bandit. So tone-wise, there's not a huge difference in like their inherent voicing and all that kind of stuff. It's just how much sort of throw they've got in terms of volume, because the Bandit is quite a lot louder, just all things being equal. But yeah, you get a different speaker in there, makes the world of difference to the output volume. I think a great speaker for that would be the Texas Heat. Like, that's what I've got in my Bandit, and I used it live for the first time the other night, and it was ball-tearingly loud. I caught a few people going like that a few times in the front of the seating right in front of the stage, and I was like, oh man, yeah, it might be a little on the too loud side. So yeah, there's not a lot inherently different between them, with all, with the speaker being equal. All right. Oh yeah, that'd be cool, man. No worries. Give me probably any time from the start of October would be fine. I'll be happy to check out more of your stuff, mate. It's pretty cool, and got a good reception too. I mean, it's great to see someone locally making killer stuff that's not a Fender clone. So well done. Everyone makes the Fender clones. All right, I was going to sell my Blues Cube until I changed the stock speaker to an Eminence Red, White, and Blues. Those speakers are so good. Breathe life into the amp, and it's much better. But you do need to do your research. 100%. I have a speaker website as well, trying to help people, because between myself, Brian, Rick, and a few of the other guys, we've had like hands-on so many speakers. Like you can see the channels, how many speaker comparison videos I did over the last sort of 15 years or so. And my friend Brian had a stack of speakers that were as tall as me, and I'm a short ass, but that's still pretty impressive. And I had a few, and he had a cab we could easily switch things out in, and we got to test a whole bunch of amps and speakers and all that kind of stuff, and it makes such a huge difference. That Eminence Red, White, and Blues is another really great choice for like any Fender amp. I think it would also sound great in a Peavey as well. It's got a really well-balanced sound, and yeah, the Eminence speakers are still my favorite for speaker upgrades. They're loud. They got the right attack for me. I'm a big fan. So well done. That's cool. I have a real clone counterfeit. Yeah, well, that's it. It's funny. I don't know. I think those, I could be wrong, man, but I have a feeling those Warm Audio Centavos will eventually be something that people are trying to find, because no one's going to pay, well, people do, but most people don't want to pay $6,000 for a Klon. Like, why would you? You can buy a KTR from Klon for a couple of $100, but to get the look of the Klon and just have it basically be a replica for a few $100, I think those will be going up in price at some particular point in the future. No questions about it. All right. Raphael says, I know a 14-year-old kid that started playing around 2 years ago and learned to play and improvise metal solos. Wow, that's cool. Although he became a really solid player, he plays a Sonic Cake multi-effects. Yeah, well, I mean, the gear doesn't necessarily dictate the chops, right? Like, people use whatever sort of they can afford and what works for them. I've seen people using a Hot Tone Ampero Live, and they're great players. They use them like a stomp box, so that, you know, without all the amp and cab sim stuff. And yeah, it worked. I was like, sounds pretty good, because the guy's a great player. So yeah, you just sort of got to find what works for you. I think when it comes to multi-effects, they really shine with like the high gain tones, although the clean tones are getting much better. Like the clean tones on the Sonic Cake one I just reviewed were great. But, you know, if you're a high gain player, there's a lot in there because you can cascade the gain stages. You can add more drive. You can find an amp that works for you. Like the new one, you can put two amps side by side, all that kind of thing. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of options for, especially for kids trying to work out their sound and all that kind of stuff. That's great. Yeah, there you go. So you said it right there. The barrier now is non-existent. Most pedals and multi-effects are basically gig ready. Yeah, I would say so. I just think the problem with a lot of multi-effects pedals and all that kind of stuff is how easy is it to change something if it's not right? That's always the thing that stopped me from using a lot of multi-effects processor pedals or even the Kemper Live. Because if something's not right, it's a bit of a pain to fix. Like if your boost pedal's not right or your overdrive doesn't sound right, it's a little bit more finicky to get in there and change things. I would probably try the Kemper again as like a clean amp, going into a PA and then use my pedals. Even though that necessarily won't be the best sound I could get out of it, it's a lot easier if I need to adjust something. And then I'd probably go back to the Joyo American Sound amp sim pedal because that thing's so good. Maybe use the multi-effects after it just with the reverb and whatever else I need, delay and so forth. But yeah, analog is the simple solution still, but you can get so much out of these things, and people who learn them properly can make them work. I know a mate of mine actually who uses I think it's a Helix into a full range speaker, and he's doing cover band stuff and it works for what he does. So I was like, it's great. It saves you buying like 10 different effects pedals and all that kind of thing. But, you know, if you're in a situation where you end up not liking the sound, you've kind of blown your dough. What's wrong with Origin? I don't know. I need more info. I'm not too sure. Do you mean the Marshall stuff? I'm not too sure. Hart says, I screwed up not getting a $50 Nobles. Oh, well, there you go. That sounds like a natural overdrive. Shane did a BB2 pedal video that really digged that sound. Yeah, I don't think I've reviewed the Nobles OD, but I know of it. Maybe I did. You know what? I can't remember. I might have tried an old one years ago. I'd need to go back through the archive of videos and take a look. Thoughts on the Orange TH30? You know, I've tried a couple of Orange amps. Just give me a sec. I probably haven't tried enough of them to really comment on, like, hang on. Orange. There's one amp I tried that I thought was... Alright, so I tried the Tremlord 30, and I was pretty underwhelmed with it. I thought it was one of the worst amps I'd played that year. I tried it up against a Marshall DSL 20, and the Marshall sounded night and day better in the room. And this was a live session. Yeah, it's called Orange Tremlord 30 versus Marshall DSL 20. And the Tremlord, it had no headroom. I don't know if it was a dodgy amp. But anyway, to answer your question, the TH30 I haven't tried. That's one thing that I can get Orange amps from Sky Music, so I'll see if I can borrow some. I got to get back down there actually. All right. Have you heard anything from Jerry at Jerry's Lefty? Bought Alice L from him about a year ago, but hasn't updated the site in a while. Are you still planning a visit? Yeah, so I think he'll be ready in the first part of next year. So probably within the first few months, his new shop will be up. He sent me some photos, actually, of the block and the progress. It's getting there. It's just taken way longer than I think he thought it would. It's a huge job. He had to, I think, lop a whole bunch of trees down and basically set up from scratch, and it's taken a whole lot of time. I'm looking at potentially going over next winter here, which will be summer again over there. So he's moving to Tennessee. Yeah, the LSL guitars are great, man. I'm sure. Hopefully you've got it. I think that you said. I think that's what that means. But yeah, his site is pretty much stagnant at the moment. He's working pretty hard to get it all going. I think he's building something pretty impressive. If you don't know Jerry's background, he was a high level like architect builder guy. So yeah, he built a lot of properties all around the coast of Florida over there, and yeah, I think he's got something pretty cool coming for the new shop, and I'll definitely be over there again at some point whenever he's ready to go. I haven't been to Tennessee before, so that should be fun. But yeah, the last update, I think it was either the last live stream or the one before that, he actually jumped into the comment section and let everybody know. So I timestamped that as well. So if it's not on the last one, I think it's the one before. Yeah, New XO, doing great. Yeah, there's another. See, this is the thing, right? How many great affordable brands are there out there? It's great. Dougal says, "Hey Shane, how you doing, man? I don't know if I said hi before. What do you think of the artist Paisley, Teles, and Strats? Any interest? Yeah, I'd love to try those. Yeah, artist guitars kind of go in batches with me. I think they're kind of like they do 2 or 3 videos, then that's it for a while, or 3 videos and then that's it for a while. So yeah, I think they look really good. At the time Ben came over to do the right-handed videos, there weren't any lefties in those available, and I don't think actually at the time they even had them in right-handed. But a good friend of mine recently bought a couple of artist bought the Skylar, and actually he bought an unrelated guitar, which was the gold top Les Paul kind of thing. And man, that Skylar kills. I'd love to try the Paisley ones. I think they look really good. I'll link one down below anyway, guys. You can check it out after the live stream. It's yeah, very impressive, especially for the price. A lot of people who aren't into the relic guitar thing will probably like these, I think. All right. All right, cool. Oh, look who's here, man. We have Steve. How are you, man? You have to come back to Boston. I had a friend with an enormous Lefty collection. You would be impressed. I tell you what, if all goes well next June, July-ish, I'll see what we can do. Might come up for a couple of days or something, and yeah, check it out. That'd be great. It'd be great to catch up with you, man. It's been way too long. So yeah, let's do it. I flew over to meet Steve from Steve from Boston, back then Pixie Licks many years ago, and also ran into Nick from the States YouTube channel as well, and it was great. We all went out to dinner, and Steve was so nice, man. He took me around, showed me all the sites in Boston. We shot a video on his channel, and it was great. It was great. We had good dinner, and yeah, got to see all the fancy houses in Boston. It's crazy. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. Anyway, mate, I hope you're doing well, and guys, go check out Steve's channel. He's doing Guitar of the Week at the moment, so his collection must be crazy. But yeah, he's got his hands on some really great stuff. So go check him out. Four says, I can't wait for Jerry to be open his new shop. Been hoping to buy stuff from him for a while now. It's given me a chance to really think about getting that Sir Legacy. He probably cut me a decent deal on it if I decide to get it at one point in time, but yeah, man, it still does my head in going to his shop. As a lefty, you walk in and you detach yourself from 90% of the guitar wall. You're just scanning it for the one pick guard that's facing the other way, and then you realize, oh yeah, they got one Squire in the corner, but his shop, I can play every guitar that's in there. And if you're right-handed, you're out of luck. How great is that? I think, you know, Southpaw guitars, I think, sell right-handed guitars. I always thought they were just a lefty guitar shop only, but I'm pretty sure they have righties in there. I'm going to have to check that out as well at some point. I was supposed to do that last time I was away, and it just didn't happen. Unfortunately, we had too much driving and not enough time. So, yeah. Anyway. Really quick, I just wanted to mention the T dynamics on the Peavey amps works really well with digital preamps. It works even better than it does on amps preamp. Okay, cool. Yeah, T dynamics is a great little feature. It's like basically like a dynamics or a headroom control. So if you turn it left, it's going to get more saturated, you get more sag, and it breaks up with the clean volume up earlier. And then as you turn it to the right, it gives you like a higher headroom sound. It's really cool. Oh, wow, man. That's crazy. 200 lefties? I think, does this guy own a shop, like a lefty shop, by any chance? Because I heard there was another store up north somewhere in the US that was just like a lefty specialty shop. I don't know if it's still around or not, but mate, I tell you what, that's ridiculous. That'd be so cool. And then we'll do a shootout. I'll play lefty and you play lefty. It's the one time I'll be able to run rings around you, mate. You're a monster. Well, I hope so. Jeez, you probably still beat me. Yeah, I like to relic my own guitars by playing them. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I've got only, you know, there's two guitars that have started to wear. My original 52 reissue Telecaster, that looks beat up to nobody's business now. I've had that for years. Even my Strat's starting to get a few marks on it now, and I'm like, it looks kind of cool. But yeah, some guitars, they're almost impossible to wear down just because of the finish. It's like an inch thick. Yeah, there you go. Tiger says, been watching Steve for years. What's up, dudes? Well, the autofocus is fine in my hand. There you go. There's one of those guys. I know Steve does it this way. That's right. All right, we'll have to. We'll see how we go. I remember how expensive that last minute flight was. So if I get organized early, we'll do it. Because yeah, sounds good, man. Sounds awesome. All right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, where's my check gone? Sorry, guys. Here it is. All right. Paul says, seems like for myself and Shay need to meet. So we've got a few lefties in the house. Yeah, 200 lefties, man. I don't think it. I mean, Jerry's definitely got more than that at his shop, but he's an actual store. So that's it's almost overwhelming as a lefty. It's like, where do you start? Like, what do you pick? And that was the thing I had last time. I shot like 20 videos at his store, and I was like, what do I do here? So much good stuff. So I just picked a range of like things at different prices and styles and stuff I hadn't played, like the Paisley guitars and the Eastman, the Les Paul Gold Top was killer. I think it was called the 59. That was really cool. LSL, obviously, just another guitar I'd never played, and the finish and the feel and the tone of those things were great. The Monteleone, the only solid body one he ever made. Thing was crazy. So good. Yeah, it's great to be able to pick, find places that at least cater to this stuff now. Southpaw Guitars, Jerry's. Obviously, there's other shops as well. There was one that's just closed down, I think, in England. There was a lefty guitar. I think it was called Left for Dead. I don't know anything about that shop, but other than seeing the website. But I sometimes don't like to buy from places that don't seem to have like an actual presence anywhere. I don't know if that's just me or not, but I don't risk it a lot of the time. It's just, yeah. I've been to Jerry's. I know Southpaw Guitars has been around for a long time. They got social media, a lot of people, customers, all that kind of stuff. Feel a lot more comfortable with that than taking a chance on, because they were blowing out guitars basically, and I thought, oh, do I get one from this joint? And I wasn't sure, so I might. If anyone has any experience with Left for Dead, let us know. You'd think that. So it's just an obsession. Oh, that's fantastic. I tell you what, man. How about we do like a not a rig rundown, but just me, you, and your friend will do like a big discussion video or a podcast style thing, and we'll talk about the guitars, and that'd be great. Play some stuff, bring a righty up. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. We'll come up with an idea. I think that'd be fantastic. If he's up for that, that'd be great. Rhiannon will be with me. We'll be able to have someone behind the camera helping out and put up a few tripods or something. It'd be great. And I won't be as tired as last time either. I remember when I flew over last time, you like downed a jug of coffee, and I was fried. I was so tired. And yeah, but it was fun, man. It was good fun. Cool. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, there you go. Steve, he's doing Ubers now for overseas guests. Mate, I'll drop you some bucks for fuel or whatever. That's not a problem whatsoever. That's cool. All right, we'll organize it. If it all goes to plan, we'll get up there for a couple of days, and I'll book it ahead of time. So we'll make sure it works for everybody. Who's going to NAMM this coming year? Next year, I guess it would be, right? Yeah. I've never been. I've been offered to. It's funny. I got offered to be flown over there, and I declined it because I felt like it was a bit of a. I don't know why I declined it. I guess I felt like it was like just an odd thing to be flown over to an event. But I don't know. I might go at some point, either this year or potentially the one after. I keep saying potentially the one after a lot, so I don't know if I'll do it this year, then go back and fly again in the middle of the year again. But yeah, I'm thinking about going. I reckon it might be a bit of fun, even if it's. I know it's a few days, but I think one day there would be enough for me. I don't love big crowds like that, but I'd love to check it out. I think it's going to be a bit of fun. I think this year too, Fender and Gibson are back. Whether that means anything to some people or not is another thing, but it might mean that there's a bit of hype behind the show. So I've sort of inquired about a press pass again, just to see whether or not I could get one of those. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can get over there at some point. Oh, cool, man. Thanks, Steve. That's awesome, man. I'm pretty sure I have your current details still. I know I was WhatsApping you and it wasn't working, so I'll text you, and right after this, I'll text you and make sure that I've still got your current number. If anything's changed, just we'll connect on Instagram or something. That's cool. Meet and greet, New England, Boston lefties. Yeah, man, I don't think I know anyone with a 200 guitar collection. I mean, that's pretty impressive no matter what orientation you play, left or right-handed, right? So that's great. That's crazy. That's more than most shops have here, which which is crazy. Hey, by the way, guys, if you can leave a thumbs up, we'll probably wrap this up right on the hour, and I'll timestamp it and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff helps. So thank you. All right, Jam Pro Sound says, "Hey Shane, what are your thoughts on trying to keep a guitar in the best condition possible versus letting dings and chips not get to you? Thoughts on refinishing?" You know, I've only had one guitar repaired visually, and that's because it was brand new. And stupid idiot that I am, I had this. This power supply was on a desk, and I never leave it on my desk. Anyway, I stood on the power cable that was connected to the back, and it fell down and literally swung into my new Telecaster. And this is metal, like this is hardcore stuff. And it chipped a big piece right out of the middle of my American Original 50s Tele. And it was like, it looked obscene. Like it was just this big white cavern ditch I could put my thumb in, basically right in the middle of the guitar. So I actually got that repaired. I said to the guy, I don't want it to look the same. So don't waste your time trying to, match the paint. And I don't care about that stuff. Just if it can be flush again, that's all I'm concerned with. And now it actually has some character. Like that imperfection looks good, but on its own through a nitro finish like that, it just didn't look right, because those guitars are really hard to relic naturally. It takes you 10, 15 years of playing them before you get enough marks on them and so forth. So I kind of felt like getting that repaired was a good move. On other guitars that have a completely different finish, or just a basic paint, or any sort of finish, like I don't really have it here at the moment, but I got a Maybury guitar that's kind of like a dry finish, or the Kiesel, for example. Those I don't seem to be as concerned with them getting scratched, because inherently they're going to. But if a big power supply puts a hole in the front of my new guitar, that's when I get it fixed. It only cost me like $100 to get it like properly finished. But again, I asked him not to match it and stress about the hours that go into trying to make it look brand new. I wasn't really that interested in that. But I think your best bet is to put it away when you're done, because dumb stuff like that can happen. And I'm the embodiment of dumb stuff can happen when you don't expect it. And I work, my old studio was where it happened, at my old house. And I've had hundreds of guitars in there. I've shot 500 videos in that room, and nothing ever dumb happened like that until I put something where it shouldn't have been. I stood on a cable and it just swung straight into the middle of my guitar. So just keep them in a safe spot. This is one time where having things on the wall can be beneficial for you as well. While I don't do that here, at least it gets it off the floor. So there's one less thing that could happen, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to trip, and you never know, right? So just put things in their case, and that would be my 2 cents. Anyway, hope that helped. Jason, thank you, mate. He's just become a channel member. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. I share sort of behind-the-scenes photos and little clips and all that kind of stuff. You also get access to all the little emoticons and extra. You get like a channel member icon. I think this program here, see it's got this little gold thing. It lets me know that you're a member, so thank you, mate. But what you see on YouTube is actually better than that. So thank you, mate. That's awesome. But yeah, it's what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was just going to reply again to the conversation about the guitars. Yeah, the safest way to keep them is to put them in the actual case. Put them in a hard case. Dumb stuff can happen. That's a long story short. Hey Daniel, welcome, mate. Thank you for joining in. Appreciate that, mate. Ah, cool. All right. Awesome. All right. So what are we up? We're up to an hour. If anyone has any last questions, let us know. I'll shoot you a text after this, Steve. We'll reconnect, mate, just to make sure I got your number. Yeah, I remember I was trying to, I think when we were over in Germany, we were all using WhatsApp, and then a lot of us weren't using WhatsApp. I use it for most of my overseas friends, but I can text you no problems now. I think my old phone plan was pretty limiting with all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming up. I got a few digital modeling amps on the way. I got a series of those. I've got some pedals that have never seen the light of day, as in like brand new stuff that's coming out of different parts of the world. So there's that coming up. I'm going to shoot another podcast coming up, hopefully in the next few days, which will be great. I wanted to do one a little while ago, and then other stuff just kept piling in. And I've got a series of actual 12AX7 tube pedals on the floor here, which will be fun too. So I'm going to try them through the Peavey Bandit. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if we can get a few different tones, or see if we can make the Peavey Bandit sound even more tubey than it does. All right, guys. Thank you again. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks for becoming a member again, Jason. I appreciate it. And everyone else who's watched today. It's awesome. Thank you again. All right, guys. We'll timestamp this up, and then that'll be it. I'll see you hopefully in about another week or so. It's been 3 weeks since the last live stream. I don't want to leave it 3 weeks again for the next one. So hang in there, and I'll schedule that one up ahead of time. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks again. Catch you soon.